It's up, Kim, on Facebook.
Thank you very much. Habari Ghani on this incredible Kwanzaa Day. Our theme, our principle of today is Ujima, cooperative work and responsibility. And we have an incredible lineup of speakers that are going to help us unearth what cooperative work and responsibility looks like for global African people. I think it's really important for us to understand how significant day 3 is of our celebration. Family all over the world, it's difficult to get us to church on Sunday morning with the outbreak of coronavirus, with the rampant racial oppression that we see here in the USA. We have to celebrate small wins, waking up in the morning and being happy about who you are, showing up to the table to do your part. It becomes increasingly difficult during times like this. But I'm excited to say that we've made it, family. We are here. 2020, we have done it. Unmute your mics for just 1 second and clap for yourself. Celebrate for yourself. Let us hear that cooperatively. Unmute your mics all across the world and let us hear you celebrate the fact that we have made it, family. We are here celebrating today. I'm still admitting people, and I see that we have some of our speakers. Thank you. I heard that. I heard that clap. Thank you. I appreciate that. We have here with us today, our speakers are joining us in the room. I see Mama Ujima, whose name is in reverence of this incredible principle that is foundational for global African people. And we are waiting for Mr. Victor B. Gibson out of Detroit. He'll also be speaking today. I see our wonderful performer out of the Netherlands, our hip hop violinist, is holding it down for Black women and people in the classical music scene. You know, a lot of people don't know that Amadeus Mozart is actually a Black man, and classical music was definitely something that Black people did. They try to exclude us from that genre, but Leontine Price, some of the greats, Marian Anderson, definitely from this area of the diaspora represent for us today. So while we wait for Baba B. Gibson, I'm just gonna make sure that he is with us. Give me 1 second. It's so crucial that we're patient with our elders as they adapt to this new virtual world, and that we're thankful for their patience, that they're willing to engage. I mean, when you get to your 70s and 80s, you just stop learning new technologies. And so for the elders that decide to stay on with us because they understand the importance of their wisdom and experience, we want to make sure that we help to facilitate that. So just give us 1 second, bear with us, family, as we ensure that Baba Victor B. Gibson is still able to join us. 1 second. I'm going to call him. Okay, we're waiting for you. And as soon as you get it together, just send me a text message and I'll see you there. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm sure you'll come in right on cue as the ancestors would have it be. All right. Thank you, Baba. All right. He's working out his computer issues, but he is in motion. We're going to go ahead and get started with Mama Ujima. I'm going to spotlight your video. She'll begin with a libation, paying homage to our ancestors as we've done every day throughout our week-long celebration. We're then gonna go into a description of collective work and responsibility as Mama Ujima would see it. Then we're gonna invite Baba B. Gibson to tell us how to actualize, how to manifest that cooperative work and responsibility. Then we're gonna take a nice break and go into our European brothers and sisters. We have two today. That's gonna be incredible. Dr. Njeri is going to join us. We also have, I hope that I'm saying this right, Bon T. Odilia from the African School. I think you may need to unmute and help me with the enunciation of this name. Are you with us, Odilia?
Yes. Yeah, we have Dr. Njeri.
Njeri.
Njeri, yes. And then we have Sister Helga that is going to talk after Dr. Njeri.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys know the lineup, and then we're going to end. This wouldn't be in vibration with African people if we didn't end with a artistic presentation. So we have Chantel that's going to close it out, and we're going to get started. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Mama Ujima to the mic for our libation. Feel free throughout the libation to open up your microphones and say the names of your ancestors, your grandmothers that have transitioned. Maybe your mom or dad is no longer with us. Maybe someone throughout history who has impacted your development, whose life was a model that you have learned from, that you emulate. Bring their energy into the room today. In African worldview, they say that you don't truly die until you are forgotten. I want us to remember today. I want us to awaken the ancient memory of African people. And so please, when we say the name of the ancestor, please unmute your mic all over the world and join us. Mama Ujima.
We would like to start out by saying Habari Gani, brothers and sisters. And that means, what is the news? And what is the news?
Ujima.
It's Ujima. Sometimes we say Ujima, sometimes we say Ujima. And we are going to pour libations now. So the Kumoja Cha Umoja is the pouring of the waters to honor our ancestors. And we do this from the cup, and we say, first, we will pour to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. And I will use this plant as where we are pouring our libations. So to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. We welcome all of our ancestors to join us in understanding that we need your guidance and your spirit to make sure that we are on the right path. And we ask for your understanding in understanding that we honor you today. So in honoring you and honoring the tradition of Kwanzaa, we will pray and we will ask for understanding and guidance in the principle of Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. In that collective work and responsibility, we want to say that we want to pour our waters to all of the ancestors who were lost in the diaspora coming from the mid-Atlantic slave trade route, where they were poured into the waters and poured into the land. And we ask for their infinite wisdom and understanding that we were on a path that would be something that would be almost insurmountable to understand that we would go through for the next 400 years. And with that, we say Ashe.
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 And then we pour to all of those who are living and are with us now, who are staying on the path. And we want to get them to understand that we must do something called Harambe, which is to pull together. And in order for us to pull together, we must know who we are. So on that, we say, Ashe,
Ashe.
and we pour the water. And then we give credence to all those who are unborn and who have not taken the life path yet, but are on the way to us to help guide us in their holistic path of making sure that we stay on the path, because their work is to be done. And with that, we pour and say, Ashe.
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 And then we want to call out to our ancestors who are in our family tree first and say their names. And this is where you say the names of your ancestors who have passed. And a lot of you may think of this as a tradition that was like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. But we do that constantly when we say to us in our sickness and when we worry, oh, grandma, guide us. Oh, grandfather, guide us. So I want to say in pouring of that tradition, my grandmother, Clyde Saunders, and my grandmother, Josephine Wright. And I want to say ashe to my grandmothers.
Ashe.
Papa John,
And you call the names of your family members as we do this.
Father Nima Teasdale,
Naaman Poole.
Ashe,
Ellen
Work
Gibson,
Petaway.
Prentice
Ashe.
Murphy,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Lena
Aaron
Gibson,
Ellerby.
Ashe,
James Gibson,
Granddaddy.
Ashe,
Nellie Mills, Ashe,
Ashe,
Justina Crawford,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Nicoya Torrance,
Aurelia Murphy,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Ashe. And for all of us who know the history makers and the ancestors who have gone on before us, who have laid a path for us to follow, we call out their names. And we can start with the great ancestor, Maya Angelou.
Ashe,
Ashe.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey,
Ashe,
Nat Turner.
Ashe,
Malcolm
Ida
X.
Watson,
Harriet Tubman, Ashe,
Ashe,
Shank Auntie Joe.
King.
Ashe,
Dr. John Henry Clark,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Ya Santua.
Ashe,
Queen Ty, Queen Nefertiti.
Ashe,
Ashe,
Francis Cress Wilson,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Doc,
Dr. Asa Hilliard,
Maisha Washington,
Ashe,
Dr. Patricia Newton.
Ashe,
Ashe,
Dr. Imani Humphrey,
Shankara,
Ashe.
Dr. Amos Wilson,
Ashe,
Jay,
Ashe,
And
Tuma
Kwame
Shankara,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Dr. Francis Cress Wilson.
Ashe,
J.O.,
Ashe,
Wangari Maathai,
Ashe.
I say,
Harriet
Winnie
Tubman.
Mandela,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Patrice Lumumba,
Ashe.
Ashe,
Ashe,
Steve Biko,
Ashe.
Ashe,
Ashe,
Rosa Parks.
Ashe.
Ashe,
Martin Luther King,
Ashe,
Ashe,
Asumini,
John Lewis, Ashe,
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 and for all the names that we have not called and for all the names that have not been spoken, we pour our last pouring, say Ashe,
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 Ashe.
Ashe,
Okay, that is the pouring of the libations. I'm going to turn it back over to Sister Kim Poole, unless I'm supposed to come back right away.
Yes, we want to thank you so much for hosting that libation for us. Libation is so important because it is crucial that as we reaffirm our identity as global African people and reshape that we protect and promote the traditions that our people built their lives on, built their families on. If it was good enough for our ancestors, then it's good enough for us. When this year when the world saw a knee on the neck of George Floyd, he didn't call out for Jesus. He didn't call out for Allah. When his life was seconds from being lost, when the last breath in his body was leaving, he called for his mother. He said, Mama, Mama. He called for his mother. He called for his mother out of an inherent instinct because he knew that if nobody else would protect him, that his mother, the woman who held him in his womb, she was going to protect him. She was going to stand by him, even as he transitioned into the afterlife. So the libation practice is so important because it is inherent in us. And we need to begin to practice those traditions that remind us of who we are inherently. So thank you again, Mama Ujima, for that incredible libation and tradition that reminds us of who we are and to pay homage to the mothers. Shout out to all the mamas in the house today. So Mama Ujima, I'm gonna call you back so that you can tell us about this name, so that you can tell us about this principle. What is this Ujima that describes who you are, so much so that it is now your namesake?
Well, let me get settled here. So Asante for asking me to be a presenter today on the Global Kwanzaa celebration. And so that I can be succinct, because sometimes I can be very loquacious, I have kind of written down a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to first spell out what Ujima meant to me. And I wanted to start out with the letter U, of course. And the U for me meant that it's something that I was taught very early on in life. They said you can get knowledge and wisdom, but the best thing you can ever get is understanding. So understanding is first. You said something very prolific in the sense that you talk about George Floyd. And I said justice, J. Did I need to say any more about that? But this is not just a year about talking about justice. It's about talking about justice for just us. I am because we are, and because we are, I am. M, my people, my people, my people. What did you do this year for your people? And mothers of the world, we have to unite. This is something that we must do. And last letter of all, Africa. Oh, Africa, my Africa. I have not traveled it like my sister Kim, and I hope to one day do that. But I have gone to Ghana. I have made the return home. And there's so much to do. So many places to go and so much to see. And so much work to be done. So Africa, oh Africa. So I want to start out with a small reading from a brother named Enikwe Arma of Senegal, West Africa. He wrote a novel called 2000 Seasons. And it's set in the Atlantic the slave war that was 300 years that devastated Africa while lifting Europe to an affluency that it still flourishes in. And in the prologue of it, in this verbiage, it reads like an opening of a journey that we all must take. And no matter where you are in this world, we got to be set on this path, but we have to have an understanding. Back to Ujima again. And so if you would bear with me, I want to read a little bit from 2000 Seasons. That's the book. If you've never seen it, please go get it. It should be in your library. And it says, receiving, giving, giving, receiving. All that lives is twin. Who would cast the spell of death? Let him separate the two. Whatever cannot give, whatever is ignorant, even of receiving, knowing only taking, that thing is past, its own mere death. It is a carrier of death. Woe the giver on the road to such a taker, for then the victim has found victorious death. Woe the race, too generous in the giving of itself, that finds a road not of regeneration, but a highway to its own extinction. I want to say that again. Woe the race, too generous in the giving of itself, that finds a road but not of regeneration, but a highway to its own extinction. Woe the race, woe the spring, woe the headwaters, woe the seers, the hearers, woe the utterers, woe the flowing water, people hustling to their own death. What remains? To sing, to regret, to curse the ancestors, and through stagnant lives pass down the malediction of those yet to come? Easy that lazy existence, sweetly drug the life spent waiting upon death. Easy the falling slide, even for rememberers. We who hear the call not to forget what is in our nature. Have we not betrayed it in the blazing noonday of the killers? Around us, they have placed a plethora of things screaming denial of our nature, things welcoming as against ourselves, things luring us into the whiteness of destruction. We too have drunk oblivion, and overflowing with it have joined the exhilarated chase after death. We cannot continue to do so. For a refusal to change direction, for the abandonment of the way, for such perverse persistence, there are no reasons, only hollow, unconvincing lies. We have to be on the right path, and the right path is called Njia. That's a key Swahili word, which means the way. So in my practice here in Baltimore, we greet each other with Njia. We say, are you on your Njia? Are you on your way? And this is one of the things that I want to say about the Njia and the way. No matter what your path is, sometimes you get disrupted and you have to get back on your path. So for me this year, I had a devastating car accident. I was on my way coming home, and someone ran into the back of me on a highway. It spun me out of control and into a guardrail with my 4-year-old baby in tow. It was the ancestors and the creator that said, we don't want her. It's not our time. And I walked away from a car that was completely demolished and totaled. I walked away from it without a broken bone, without a bruise on my head, and only a mere scratch on my granddaughter's head. The funny thing about this accident is a year before, I had a first accident in June. Totaled my car. Somebody ran into me running a red light, and I spun out of control and just almost missed a lamppost. And again, I walked away from it because I was on my path. And I think sometimes that we think that we are doing a certain kind of work and we are not. And I think that the reason why I might still be here is because I still got work to do. And you have work to do. So I am pregnant with the possibilities of knowing that there is more work to do. That's that collective work. So here in Maryland, I want to ask you, I'm working with 2 organizations. One involves chefs, and I work with chefs from all over the diaspora. And it's called the Chefing Series. And I do a series of work with brothers who can cook and sisters who can burn. And it's an amazing event that we weren't able to put on this year. This would have been my 10th year. And then there's an organization called Woman, Working, Organizing, Making a Nation. And it's a 501c3 in the United States in good standing. And we are building a building to create a cultural center to talk all about Africa. All about Africa. And then we teach martial arts. We'll have classrooms. We'll have meeting spaces. And it's led by an incredible brother named Walimu Losi Imani Lumumba, who has been a Pan-African nationalist almost all his life. And he's almost 70 or 70. So I want to say and end this with something that is relevant to a sister that we lost. And that sister is Mama Maisha Washington. I'm not sure if any of you got a chance to meet her. I know that Sister Kim brought her to some events in New York at the, was it at the United Nations, Kim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Sister Maisha Washington was an amazing sister. And now she lives with the ancestors, and she had language with her. And she would always tell me, Ujima, WTF, what you doing? And I was saying, oh, Mama Maisha, what a mouth on you. And but when you talk about brilliance, this lady was brilliant. And in honoring her, I want to talk about unhappiness, because some of us sit in an unhappy place. And I want us to figure out how to get out of that unhappy place. So unhappiness is not knowing what we want and killing ourselves to get it. So can I continue to live in lack and limitation, denying myself the abundant goodness of the world? Or can I make a plan? Can I follow a dream? Do what I can, where I am, with what I have? Can I continue to buy into the belief that there is not enough, that I am not enough, settling for whatever I can get? Or can I do my best in every situation, expecting the best from every situation, recognizing that what I put out must come back to me tenfold? Can I? Can I continue to live in fear, complaining about what I do not have? Can I do criticizing myself, criticizing others? Or can I take a chance, find an opportunity, and know in my heart what I want to do is possible? Can I do that? Can I blame the world, hate my enemy, feel sorry for myself as an excuse not to do what I desire to do? Or can I raise my consciousness, pour love into every situation, and take responsibility for myself? Can I do that? Can I? And more importantly, can you? I want to say, Pomoja to the Shinda. Together we will win.
Ashe. Ashe. Thank you, Mama Ujima, whose namesake is in light of and in homage of today's Kwanzaa principle. Next up, we have Bobby Gibson out of Detroit, Michigan, in the Midwest of the USA. I hate to bring us back into the spirit of this European construct of time, but now that we all live in it, that is 2:30, we've got a lot to put into our next 30, maybe 40 minutes. And so I just want you guys to remember Baba Victor. At this time, I'm gonna spotlight your video. Thank you again, Mama Ujima, for your incredible description of what collective work and responsibility is. Until you know your purpose, you won't understand your role in the vision. And what you told us is that in the vision, and you must accept it and work towards it. Thank you again. Baba, there you are.
Hey.
Sitting in the snow in Detroit, Michigan. Oh.
No, actually, I'm not homeless. I have to be homeless to sit in the snow, but yes.
Yeah.
We do, but it's melted. All good. But listen, before we move on, because I know we all pressed for time, how much time so I can put this timer on so I can be within the for the panel?
10 minutes, Baba.
5 minutes, 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna put you on 9. Because I can talk forever. Jambo, everyone.
Jambo.
Habari Gani.
Yes, Mambo. Poa.
All right.
Ujima.
For those who don't, let me give you a quick bio of myself. My name is Baba Gibson. I was given that honorific because of this man here. And you saw his picture earlier, and I am quite indebted to him. This is my first principal. He talked me into going into teaching. And this is what we're looking at when it comes to Nguzo Saba's principle. This is the first man that developed an African-centered school, public school, paid by public dollars. And of course, in Detroit, we were known for how well we were doing. And so eventually this man brought me out of the social work field and the mental health field and made me a teacher. And for 23 years, I taught at the Malcolm X Academy here in Detroit. I am thankful for Kim for allowing me to be on to present, because right now we're looking what we have done with the Nguzo Saba principles. And let's make no mistake, this is what we call our core cultural value system. These are the things that we're trying to instill not only in ourselves, but also into our people. That's why we thought it was imperative that the core cultural values became part of the curriculum at the African Center Academies, not just Malcolm X, but Paul Robeson, Aisha Shule, and Saroma. All these independent schools, plus the public schools, made it possible. When we talk about collective work and responsibility, Dr. Clifford Dean Watson was that type of man. What he did, he went more than just celebrating 7 days of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a cultural value system that must be learned and taught. The sister alluded to it earlier when she said on the right path. Well, that's that old saying that goes back to imply if you raise a child in the way it's supposed to go, it will not stray from the path. So from kindergarten to 8th grade, we use that every day, every moment, every second of our lives in our Detroit public schools, especially Malcolm X Academy, because we knew that we had to start from a point of from the womb to the tomb. These are what these values are. And to show you how important it is, again, I'm gonna be talking about culture and values, not just the responsibility of the Kwanzaa. But culture is a means of survival. All people are cultural beings and need to be aware of how culture affects people's behavior. And that is what the Nguzo Saba is about, impacting our behavior. Culture is at work in every classroom. Culture affects how learning is organized, how school rules, curriculums are developed, and how teaching methods, evaluation procedures are implemented. Schools can prepare students to be effective citizens in dealing with the cultures of the world. Culture can help solve problems and conflicts in the school and in the community. I also want to show this chart. Some of you maybe have not seen this. And it's basically, this chart shows you that it's not just the Nguzo Saba values along the top, but it's the internal attributes, and then that leads to behavior. So when we talk about Ujima, collective work and responsibilities, we're talking about teamwork. We're talking about being dependable. We're talking about problem solving. And Lord knows we have a lot of problems in our communities, in the world, both personally and in global situations, and how it impacts how we can solve these problems collectively. No one person can go out here and change the world as we know it. But if we get enough of our people holding the same values, holding the collective values, a sense of it's not just me. Excuse me. It's about what the sister opened with, Ubuntu, collective work. I mean, I am because we are. And that's how we look at this particular value in the Nguzo Saba principles. We call it the Sweet Bees chart of values. And this is what we are looking at. This is what we're trying to do. We have been quite forefront when it comes to showing our young people in an academic setting how we will be according to how we are raised. Now, when I came up, I was not quite, it's only the 54th year of Kwanzaa. I'm 67 years old. So I came up under the rule of my mama said. And of course, there were a lot of parents out here saying a lot of things. So my mama said, we pick up a brick and knock somebody in the head, they mess with you. Well, we know that if we don't have a central core of values, then giving the wrong stimulus, we will react in a whole plethora of ways, right or wrong, to how to solve that problem. And I think this is where we must get back to. Going back, and since I'm an educational retiree, this is what we need to do when we're moving forward and really pushing forth our core cultural values. And Ujima is one of the ones that I think we can really push forward to. We need to demand, first of all, that our teachers know who we are. How can you teach? It's like having as I said to Kim one day, she looked at me kind of strange. That's like having a veterinarian be your OBGYN. Yes, they do animals, okay? But we are not animals. We are higher above animals. So just because you know a little bit about our history, a little bit about ourselves, if you don't know you, and therefore you cannot share yourself with me, then that's going to be a disconnect. There's not going to be an impact where we kind of pull our children together and they believe in us. And this is what we've seen over the 23 years of African Center Schools here in Detroit. We've seen that belief system become an everyday thing. We see our children come back and look for us as their teachers and their mentors. We see children who now emulate what we've been teaching, the values that we've been holding, to getting together, to having a collective solving approach. We knew that For example, they wanted to destroy that, well, not destroy, they wanted to take over the Charles H. Wright African American Museum. Well, when our children found out that this is what the move they were trying to make, they quickly came together and decided that they were going to fight and resist those kind of things, that whole takeover method. Because in Detroit, it seemed like Detroit is the ground zero for takeover, school takeover, city takeover, bankruptcy. All these things have to be resolved within the community. When the community come together, we can resist, we can fight. And this is what collective work and responsibility is really kind of pushing forward. That yes, there will be good days, but in the rough days, when you have these conflicts, how do you resolve it? Do you resolve it with a gun? Do you resolve it with a vote? Do you resolve it with running away and isolating yourself? How do you resolve conflicts? And conflicts are generally better approached when collectively all heads get together. Like one African proverb says, no one head can go into council. So we don't need the monolithic leadership kind of model that we're used to in European settings. We need to be able to have a group of like-minded thinking people like yourselves on this panel to get together and say, hey, here's an issue we want to address. I applaud Kim Poole because when I met her, that's exactly what she was doing. She was saying, Baba, I found a problem. I see something we can collectively do. Let's get with the TAI Institute. Let's build it. Let's address issues. Let's bring these issues together collectively. And these are the things that we most need to do. So in closing, I'm not going to, I'm going to set myself down because I can talk forever being an educator. But I like to say that let us all remember that these values are something that must be taught every day. I'm a 365-day Kwanzaa man. I don't just wait till December 26th and January 1st to show my cultural connectedness. We do it. All my children do it when I'm on the street. I live in the neighborhood where my children are. They see me. They always say, Jumbo Baba, or how we doing, Baba? We're creating this so that when I pass away, I've passed it forward. And that's what values, that's how you raise your child. Your child, any mother that's worth their salt, any dad that's worth his salt, should be trying to instill in their children the values that they hold most dear. And the values I hold most dear are located within this sect. The internal intellectual maturity, Nkujakalia, Ujima, Ujama, and Nia, and the emotional maturity embodied in Emoja, Kaumba, and Imani. All these values must be instilled in our children. If we're not doing that, we're not really doing the job. So Kim, again, I thank you for having me on. I hope I've shared something that, anything that you see that you want, tweet free chart if you want, I can get it to you. And you can pass this information on. It's not about you being the smartest spoon in the drawer. It's about you trying to shape all the knives and sharpen all the knives that are in that drawer. So again, I thank you, Kim, for allowing me to share what little bit I have gained in all my years. And I'm looking forward to moving it forward until I'm having a bad day. And I'm having a bad day when I'm stretched out. When you see me stretched out, I'm having a bad day.
Thank you, Bob Victor. Thank you so much. The work you've done in the education space for African children is incredible. And finding curriculum that includes the Nguzu Saba into their education every day is foundational, and it is mandatory. It is mandatory in order for us to create culturally competent curriculum. So I have to make sure that this Kwanzaa every day is in real time. So I need you to take the contact information for Odilia with the International African School. I need you all to connect in the chat room, because we have people all over the world watching us live right now on Facebook, but there's also about 40 of us inside of this WhatsApp group chat, or this is not WhatsApp, I'm so used to talking about WhatsApp, inside of our Zoom group chat. Please post your information there. Do not leave this room today without having the contact information for somebody new. The point of this global Kwanzaa celebration is that we do that cooperative work and responsibility. And the Ujima is the connection part. Without the connect, without the plug, without the people that are willing to do the work to connect, the connection doesn't happen. You do your cooperative work over there in the Netherlands. He does his work over in Detroit. Mama Ujima, she does it down in New York or Baltimore. And wherever we are all over the world, Dr. Njeri, he does it over in Germany. So the point of days like today, the reason that this global Kwanzaa celebration is so important is not for some ceremonious traditional African celebration. It's to bring y'all together in real time. And so thank you for being here today, because a part of coming together is showing up. So thank you for showing up, Baba, and showing out, because your information was on point as usual. At this time, I want to introduce our European African contingent. We have Dr. Ingedi from Germany here today to tell us about how to actualize cooperative work and responsibility. I'm going to find you in our group chat list so that I can make sure that we spotlight your video. And let me make sure that I'm doing that as we speak. Give me 1 second. All right, Dr. Ingedi. Are you with us?
Yes.
Yes.
Can
Thank
you hear
so
me?
much. Yes, I can.
Yes.
Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
So thank you very much for having me. I'll also try and keep time, which is also very difficult as a scholar, but I'll try. So in honoring my hero and our hero, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, I'm all going to greet you in my own mother tongue, in Kikuyu. So I'm going to say Ohoro wanyu, and I'm going to say you're all welcome and thank you for having me today. I'm going to try and keep my presentation short, but so let me just start. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm very grateful and honored today to share with you the third day of Kwanzaa, Ujima. And it's for me, Kwanzaa is a call to celebrate richness of what it means to have African roots. As a great granddaughter of a Mau Mau fighter, and that's why I started with honoring the Kikuyu language. I feel very blessed and very happy to see my many aunties, grandmothers, mothers, sisters, fathers, uncles, nieces, and nephews from all over the globe. And so I welcome you all. I would like to acknowledge that I do not stand alone, and that I stand with those who have come before me. And in the African tradition, as we have all seen with the liberation, is always nice to say and mention those who came before us. So for me as a young African woman and as a mother, Kwanzaa offers a new dialogue on African and Black culture about our positive contribution to the world, not only the negative stigma of race, but the beauty, the history, the richness, the genius of our Africanness and our Blackness, which is at the core heart of the Kwanzaa celebration. What of course is revolutionary and unique about Kwanzaa is that it traces our African history before slavery and colonialism. And we all come from Africa. So Kwanzaa shows us that we were inventors of civilizations. We're the people who broke first from the animal kingdom. We spoke the first human truth, wrote the first basic text of human knowledge. In other words, Kwanzaa gives us a long memory, a long cultural biography. And one of these cultural biography is, of course, Ujima, which for me is a critical value system of rescuing and reconstructing our lives as people from Africa, or as people from the mother continent. When we look at Ujima from this lens, it's a process that challenges us as people of African descent to seek collectively and solve our problems collectively as a Black community, to build and maintain our community together and make your brothers and your sisters' problem our problem and solve them together. It is also recognition and respect of the fact that without collective work and struggle, progress is impossible and liberation is unthinkable. The principle of Ujima supports the fundamental assumption that Africa is not just an identity, but it's a destiny and it's a duty, it's a responsibility. Our collective identity in the long run is a collective future. This is a very important principle because it means that being your brother's keeper or your sister's keeper is just like Ubuntu. As children of Mother Africa, we are not individuals, but rather people living within a community. And in a hostile community, as we find ourselves today, no matter where we are located geographically, it is only through community solidarity that hunger, isolation, deprivation, poverty, that we will be able to survive. Because community and brotherly and sister love, cooperation, care, and sharing is what is going to build us together. So Ujima does not only mean that we should look or address ourselves to a problem, but it does imply that we should look on whether what we are doing as what we as people of African descent are doing is empowering our communities and those around us and helping them improve. Assisting each other when help is needed, thus we become a problem, we become a family, sorry. For example, one of the things that I know a lot of people from the African continent do is something called chama or susu, where women come together and collect money, or even now men are coming together and collecting money. And through that collection, they can be able to do something for themselves and thus empower themselves economically. And when they have problems or when they cannot be able to do certain stuff, then through this money that they get through the chama or susu, then that's possible. So even anywhere we are in the diaspora, we can be able to do this and help our sisters and brothers out. So Ujima expresses the interconnectedness, our common humanity, and the responsibility of individuals to each other. The family, according to the African history, is the basic social and economic center of every civilization. The family is bounds the family members, and reaffirms our commitment and responsibility to each other. So looking from the African lens, Kwanzaa transcends the narrow confines of the nuclear family as we know it now. And it extends our kinship and networks to everybody who belongs to the community. So even today, as we gather here, we are family, either near or far. By caring about each other in terms of Ujima, we understand that no matter where we find ourselves in the globe, we are related to each other through history. In 1965, James Baldwin wrote, "For history is not merely something to be read." And indeed, the great force of history comes from the fact that we carry it within ourselves, are consciously controlled by it in many ways. And history is literally present in all that we do. So I'm trying to skip up so that I can finish up on time.
It's okay, sis. Don't rush the spirit. Just let the spirit flow.
So with Ujima, one has a proper insurance that comes within the fundamental recognition that each individual belongs to a greater community. If then, according to the African proverb that says it takes a whole village to raise a child, it also takes a whole community to uplift each other and build our communities as people from one family. A problem from us should not be an individual problem, but a community problem. Ujima-based leadership dictates sharing burdens during hard times, because by doing so, suffering is also shared and diminished. To conclude, Ujima principle teaches each family member to recognize that their own well-being is deprived from their family and community well-being, and that we should be concerned with overall health of every community member. So practicing Ujima unlocks the capacity of the African culture in which every individual expresses compassion, dignity, humanity, and mutual interest in building and maintaining communities with justice and communalities. So I rushed, I tried to rush, but for me, Ujima is very important because it means that you're your brother and your sister's keeper. And I think that's the most important thing. And as Baba Victor, if I say that correctly, has said, Nguzo Saba, these are not only principles that should be only be practiced when it's on the 26th of December, but this is something that our forefathers in the African culture and in African history have been doing forever. And so when we continue that, and when we continue realizing that no matter where we are in this world or in this globe, that we're all brothers and sisters, and that we should be our brothers and sisters keepers, there's nothing more stronger than when we as people of African descent, children of Mother Africa, come together, as we have come here together to empower ourselves. And there is a real force behind that. So thank you.
Wow, thank you, Doctor. And you're based in Germany, yes?
Yes.
Yes, and are you originally from Kenya?
Yes, I am.
Wow, so this Swahili language of the Kwanzaa celebration is your mother tongue. What a blessing.
No, my mother tongue is Kikuyu.
Kikuyu,
Yes.
oh, okay.
We should not forget that language is culture. So I am Kikuyu. And in me, I carry that force and that history of my people. So even the 7 principles, you can also translate them into Kikuyu, which my forefathers have been doing it forever.
So please, why don't you translate for us cooperative work and responsibility in Kikuyu?
Oh, I am still learning the language, but I could try. And I think someone is here also from Kikuyu. Rose, please correct your sister if she's wrong. So
I'm here for you, sister.
Yes. So I think in Kikuyu you would say woka hamwe, aduamwe, uteithania, na kumenya ate moro wa nyokwa kana moro wa nyina nyareka wira mwega. Did I say that correct? Rose?
That was perfect. That was perfect.
Oh my God. Honey, you're gonna have to write that down for me.
Oh, that's right.
English language has really done a number.
You gotta write that down.
Yes. What I wanted to add on is that
please put it in the chat.
Yes, what many people don't know is that almost like Swahili is in Kenya and Africa, but many people, we have our own mother tongue.
Yes.
Swahili on top of that. So most Africans can speak 3 languages.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And I think it's also important to say that, even the translation of the words like umoja and, all the 7 principles into Swahili. And I think Odilia mentioned this yesterday. The reason why a lot of people don't know about this in the African continent is because it's written in a language that a lot of people feel is not their mother tongue. So a lot of people who are, who speak a different language will not identify with Kwanzaa or some of the principles because they do not understand what that means. So I think if you're going to make this global, I think as Ngugi wa Thiong'o, keeps on telling us, our languages are very important, and through our languages we can actually be able to have umoja and have that sense of ujima, because then people understand what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Dr. Njeti, because we can't allow language to separate us anymore. On the first day when we talked about umoja or pomoja, we talked about the Rhythm People campaign and how we would use rhythm as that symbol, that universal tool to help us communicate beyond the language barrier. And so you're right, as we think about African people in a global context, our work and responsibility becomes more complex. And a lot of the divisions that you find are the competing agendas, right? But the competing agendas come from misunderstanding of our purpose and our mission. And until we understand that our collective work and responsibility is our perpetual survival, our continued survival, and how our survival is connected and interdependent for our Afrofuturism, we're gonna continue to have problems. So I thank you for being willing to tell us about Kikuyu today, and for learning Swahili outside of your mother tongue, for learning the German that you speak when you're in Germany, for learning the English that you're speaking so that you can speak to me. Like, shout out to you, sis, Dada, for being that universal walking, talking language system that we need to connect the people. My heart is in the right place. I don't speak any of those languages. I barely speak English, sis, but my heart is in the right place. My heart is in the right place. We're gonna keep moving We're talking today on this global Kwanzaa celebration, global African Kwanzaa celebration about collective work and responsibility. We're talking about Ujima today in whatever language is best suited for you and your mother tongue. And without further ado, our Netherlands, D. Tijan, let me make sure I give your name the proper homage. D. Tijan A. Khan. D. Tijan A. Khan, are you with us?
With you, I'm here. Hello?
Yes,
Do you hear me?
yes, yes. I'm gonna spotlight your video.
Okay. Do you see my face?
Oh, yes, if you see a beautiful face.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for letting me in. And it's an honor to meet my brothers and sisters on this third day of the Kwanzaa. The former speakers had said a lot about Ujima. And for me, Ujima is I'm pragmatic. In a pragmatic way, I will explain what Kwanzaa means to me. And the third principle is Ujima. We have to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters our problems and solve them together. But only that, the principle and practice, this also means that we accept that the fact that we are collectively responsible for our failures, our setbacks, as well as our victories and achievements. The best practice we aim to have a best practice is the African school. My sister Odelia have ID, and I want to practice Kwanzaa, the 7 principles. It's not just a word, it's a practice. It's not just explaining what it means, but it's also practice. So we have the African school, and in the African school, we aim to help together build the bridges to solve each other's problems. To face our challenges and think collectively how we can solve our problems through this African school. We start with Swahili, but we have other things like history, because without history, we don't know what our future will be. So in this case, the collective work and responsibility, we start with the practice, and our practice is the African school. We join Odelia to let this dream come true, and we aim to use this as a vehicle to work together globally and solve each other's problems in every way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate how concise you spoke. I mean, it's that simple. I think that sometimes we overcomplicate what is so clear and so simple. We use language to over describe and to talk about what, like you said, is just a practice. You said it's not a word, that Ujima is a practice. And I appreciate us recognizing that today. And I wouldn't be the founder of the Teaching Artists Institute if I wasn't excited about the next portion of our program, the performance of an incredible artist. You see, for me, art is not just the aesthetic. It's not just pretty. It's not just the hired help. The artist in the room is the civic engager. They teach every sector in society how to think creatively, how to engage the people into that practice. The artists are the ralliers. They're the bullhorn. They remind the people of the necessity of our cooperative, our collective work and responsibility. They get people to the table because you have to show up. Chantel, a lot of us only showed up today because we wanted to hear your hip hop violin. So thank you for being our civic engager today. At this time, I'm going to invite you. I think that before you play your violin, the people need to see a video clip of your entire family dancing. You guys don't know that she is one of 10 family members, 10 brothers and sisters in the Netherlands. In the US, we have a show, America's Got Talent. Well, they have this same TV show in the Netherlands, in Europe, and her family were the winners. All of them together as a family performing, each one dancing and singing, and she's playing the violin. I mean, they really are the Jackson 10. In the US, we have the Jackson 5, but it's 10 of them. And I feel like I need to share our screen today and show you this, this short clip of their family doing this YouTube. Let me see if I can pull it up. Please give me 1 second. Is that okay? Maybe, let me see. Maybe we'll be able to post that link inside of the WhatsApp group chat. Okay, let's see. I hope that you guys can still see the screen. If you can still see my screen and now you see YouTube, please unmute your mic and help me out and say, yes, I see the YouTube screen.
Yes, I see the YouTube.
Yes.
So the Chantel, spell your last name for me. I'm gonna pull up this video so they can see your family dancing and singing together. They're gonna love this.
Okay, Baumgart, is B-A-U-M-G-R, sorry. I have to switch. Okay.
You speaking to me in
The
Dutch.
last letter is a D. Like Baumgart. Yeah.
Baumgart.
D, with the D. Instead of T, it's a, yeah, Baumgart with the D. Just without Baumgarten, but just Baumgart, yes?
Yes.
And the
Family.
title. Yeah, family.
Second one, family.
It's already there. It's
Yeah.
X Factor. Baumgart X Factor.
Oh, X Factor.
No, I mean, now you get a lot of videos about like my family, like our daily things, but X Factor is like the show my sisters did a few years ago. And that's my brother. You can also put this one if you want.
We want the one with the whole family. Is that it? X Factor. Baumgarten.
I don't
family.
remember the name from the show, but
there it is. Uptown
oh yeah, the
Funk.
second one. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, here we go. I think it's the show. Okay, hopefully the commercial will go. These people know how to put their commercials in front of you, don't they? All right, so now we are waiting for the Baumgart. Can everybody hear?
Oh my gosh.
I can't hear any sound.
Yeah. There's no sound.
Yeah.
But maybe for next time you can, if
Do you
people
have to
want to
unmute
see
yourself?
the video, then I can send the link for later.
Such a
Can you
beautiful
hear
family.
now? Look at
Everything
the
is
littlest one. Oh, you can't hear?
Yeah. No, there
No.
is no sound.
Oh.
But you're jumping. That's what it is. It's like you fast forwarding, Kim.
Yeah, I think if you go to share screen, there is this option to share with audio.
Okay. Share computer sound. Okay. Can you? Let me see.
No,
Yes.
there is no sound, but
Okay, so now we have share with computer screen sound. Now you can all hear, correct?
No.
Press the play
no.
button. There we
Press
go.
play. Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, perfect.
Not yet.
No, there's no sound. But maybe I can share the link later.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's no problem.
Yes, it's
If
a
you
beautiful
guys are
family.
interested.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sad that it didn't work. It's such a
But
nice video, but that's okay.
yeah,
We've got the real thing. So
there
let
you
me
go.
turn that off, and I will encourage all of you to go on your own and see that video because I mean, it really is adorable. But to have an entire family, 10 people in her family, I wanted you to see the video because it is a perfect example of cooperative, of collective work and responsibility. It starts at home. It starts in the house. She was nurtured around 10 brothers and sisters, all artists, all helping her become who she would one day be. This is the first level of cooperative work and responsibility, collective work and responsibility. So she is a living, walking example of the outcome of effective work and responsibility. Her family was her team. They were her army. They were her tribe. And so, Chantel, I want to now.
Oh, I think something went wrong because I don't hear anything anymore.
So are you saying this
something-
is Chantel's whole family?
Chantal,
Something is
Chantal,
going wrong.
Het ligt aan Kim hoor, want wij horen jou allemaal
okay.
wel. Wij horen haar allemaal niet.
Okay.
Yes, I believe Kim is frozen.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, I would suspect that she was introducing you, and I would suspect you should probably continue.
Yeah, I think Kim is back.
Okay, everyone is back. We don't know what happened. YouTube is trying to hijack our meeting. Chantel, are you still with us? You may have to unmute yourself. Let me see if I can help you do it from my end. X to unmute.
Oh yeah. I am
perfect. All right, now I'm going to spotlight your video. Yes. So again, before she starts, I want to again encourage you all to go and see the video of her family. She is not an island. The prodigy that you will hear today is the end result of collective work and responsibility. Her family of 10 is her tribe. It takes a group. Her mother and her father, she stands on their shoulders. Her brothers and her sisters, they benefit from her and she benefits from them. She is an example today of our cooperative work and responsibility, our collective work and responsibility. Please, sis, let us hear your hip hop violin.
Yeah, so for today, I will play some soul violin.
Okay.
Yeah. For our ancestors. So, yeah.
Where are you?
I am at my grandma's house.
No, in what country?
Holland.
Yes, yes.
Thank
Oh
you.
my God. Yes,
Thank you,
honey.
guys.
That soul is indestructible. It's universal. It's what we need to reconnect the system. One thing we agree on, it's the one thing we understand. It is the fabric that weaves our cooperative collective work and responsibility. Thank you so much for using your
Thank you for
strength.
inviting me.
Yes. So tell us, what is it like to grow up with 10 brothers and sisters as a part of your tribe of collective work and responsibility?
Yeah, it's amazing because there is always someone who is there for you. You can choose. There are a lot of opportunities. No, but it's nice to have so many brothers and sisters. There's so much love. I get inspired by my parents, my grandma, and also my brothers and sisters. If it's about music, they push me if there is something going on. And yeah, I think I am blessed if I can say this. Yeah.
You are blessed. And your family is a microcosm of the global African family. If we could only see that in each other, if we could only love each other that way, if we could depend on each other that way. You said they challenge you to do better and hold you accountable. They support you when you need it, whether it be music or whatever area of your life. And that is what we have if we only recognize it in the global African family. The song you did was so appropriate. I give myself to you. Girl, you had me over here going in, honey. I got recordings and everything.
You. And if I might
out
share,
of time for today.
If I can share, I have I do have my own violin school, and it will open up next year in Rotterdam. And the thing is, okay, now I have to think how to say this, but all children are welcome to the lessons, and I also push the parents to go and visit the lesson to see how the children has to study the music lesson, because this is what children need. They need their parents to show up at their lesson and to how do you say that? Empower them, because this is now missing with our children. Parents should be there at their sports, at their music lesson. Yeah, so if you understand me.
No, it's true.
I can
The
explain again.
They're the reason. No, it's okay. We know that you speak English and Dutch. You're doing us a favor, Dutch chocolate. You speak Dutch, you speak English. I don't speak Dutch. So thank you. Thank you so much. Our children are the reason we work. The cooperative and work and responsibility is for them. If not for them, then for what? So thank you for your violin school. I'm gonna have to get some of my brothers and sisters from The Hague over there to Rotterdam. And of course, you know, Odilia, Marianne, if she's here, we have our Shiro sisterhood. So we're gonna make sure we tell you about that so that we can figure out how to support your business and show you some of that love. Tell Mama Samantha I said hey, and Auntie Beryl. I love them so much. Thank you guys. We are out of time. But again, I want to encourage, if no other day, put your contact information inside of that chat box. If you haven't already done that, reach out, connect. This is not a ceremony. This is not a performance. She was not performing so that you can enjoy yourself. That was a trick. She was trying to get you into the room. And now that you're here, please connect, 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 because we want you guys to stay connected. And we will see you tomorrow for Ujima. Yes, tomorrow is the same principle. No, the next principle. Same place, same time, same Zoom link. Also streaming live from Teaching Artists Institute on Facebook. If you haven't already liked us, please do that. Like the International African School, they are our co-host for this Kwanzaa celebration, the first time that Europe has celebrated Kwanzaa. We have to know how significant that is. Family, if you're in the room today, you are a part of history. Europe has never celebrated Kwanzaa, and this is the first time you're making history with us. Continue to make it tomorrow. I will see you later. Kwaheri.
Thank you,
All right,
Kwaheri.
peace.
Kwaheri.
Yamotep.
Yeah.